runs around the country trying to sell Republicans in this last month. They have given us a situation where it is actually true that we should be afraid about who's coming across our borders because, as the most recent national intelligence estimate tells us, we've got more terrorists as a result of Iraq. So my question to you, Barbara, is, are you ready to announce today that it's time for us to leave Iraq? And give Gary, by the way, a date certain when that will happen.
There's no question that dates have already been set, gentlemen. Did you not hear what General Casey said a month and a half ago? He set deadlines. He set specific dates. He said it was doable. Now, y'all know what it corresponded to. It corresponded to a variety of political elections that were coming up. We need to be listening to our military. They've been saying for some time, yes, we need to set a timetable. We need to withdraw. We are destabilizing the country, and I don't think that you should be disagreeing with the combined opinion of the entire intelligence community in the United States and a lengthy community. We are clearly destabilizing Iraq by our presence.
By the way, that's not what they're saying. What they're saying,
have you read the NIE?
I've read excerpts. I haven't seen everything, so I don't have a security clearance. But what they are saying is we need more troops to finish the job. That has been a problem, and that's a criticism of the administration and the Congress, and that's bipartisan criticism. We need more troops there to finish the job.
So you would put more troops in, is that right?
And
how many?
We are allowing.
Tell us how many troops need to go in.
At least another 100,000. And
100,000
we are not,
troops
which we don't have. Because the military
put more troops in, and yet he says we don't have them. Now, that's very curious.
Well, because what happened was, David, under the Clinton administration, we emasculated the military, and when Bush ran for president in 2000, he said we need more people in our military. We got to expand the military.
But
didn't do it.
You're right. I agree with you, dear. I agree with you absolutely. Both in the Clinton administration and in the Bush administration, we had amateurs who were analyzing what ought to be done in the military setting, and you're absolutely right. We now have an emasculated military.
Right.
And you will emasculate it further when you send 100,000 of our boys and girls into Iraq while you ignore what's happening in North Korea, Somalia,
No, actually, there's
Sudan.
other things we need to do. We also need to take care of the sanctuaries where the problem's coming from, which is Syria and Iran, that we have basically ignored. And I don't understand why we've done it, but we have. And if it's a political decision, it makes no sense.
Democrat.
Well, Barbara,
the Democrats don't care. They just want to run.
Here's what the Democrats need to say, and you tell me whether you agree. I mean, Gary and his folks will say it's cutting and run. Now, I'm saying it's lying and dying. That is what is happening.
You need to tone down. Let me just be, with all due respect, both of y'all need to tone down the rhetoric, because the problem is that we need someone who will find the common ground between the parties. There are people of good faith in both parties who feel quite strongly that Iraq is going the wrong way. The NIE did not say we need to put more troops into Iraq. The NIE, which has caused so much consternation, when it leaked out, made it clear that we are on a bad path in Iraq, that we have actually caused Islamic terrorism to increase. And now let's all just confront it. Let's see what we need to do so that the United States can retake its place.
But shall we tone it down whenever we know what the destruction is that we're now a part of? And especially since we now are being forced to admit, Senator Frist, the majority leader of the Senate, Gary's Republican Party, says we need to bring the Taliban into the Afghanistan government. I mean, can we really afford for that to happen?
There are extraordinary occurrences happening worldwide. We are not negotiating with Korea. North Korea. We are actually dependent on countries like China to do our bidding. And you know what the effect of that will be. China doesn't represent our interests. I do not think that Musharraf and the Taliban represent the interests of the...
He's talking about your ally in Pakistan, Gary.
He's been a disappointment, but I think it's a reflection on the fact that he's really pretty weak in his own country.
And isn't it interesting? This is an opportunity for the United States. It can regain its moral and its leadership status in the world. And we can therefore do what the first President Bush did. We have the capability of marshaling the rest of the world if we can only retain our leadership role. And you know what it means? It means we have to have people who are trained in diplomacy, negotiations, but also able to keep power and have the power there for military offense when we need to do it. Right now, when you waste 100,000 of our children, and I have 3 children of draft age, when you waste 100,000 of them, you need to think very carefully about sending them to their ultimate death or destruction.
Well, we're not talking about about that.
Now,
That's the mentality that comes from your side of the aisle, David. This idea is that nothing's worth fighting or nothing's worth dying.
Well, then where's your draft?
Why should we do anything?
Do you know?
Where's your draft? We may want to look at doing that
again.
again.
Stop for a second. You
That's
said
the problem.
This
You
kind
want
of attack.
You either want to go, you want to finish the job, or you don't.
This kind of attack on Americans doesn't behoove us. My father was seriously injured in World War II. My grandfather was seriously injured in World War I. You will find Democrats and Republicans who consider themselves fine patriots who still can disagree that it is not a good mission to continue to send man, woman, and frankly their teenagers at this time into Iraq unless there is a valid military and good national security purpose to do so.
Well, it's costing us $6 to $8 billion a month.
All of that is true, David. There is a good reason for being there, but if you're not